Hello and welcome to On Point Opinions, the show that talks about all the most current and hottest topics hitting the news wise. I'm Bobby Kinzer, and
I'm
that's
Juan Holcomb.
Juan Holcomb. What's up, Juan?
Hey, Bob. Greetings from Las Vegas.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this show is pre-recorded because Juan is actually in right now in Las Vegas, and because of timing issues, we pre-recorded our show. So please do not be putting any comments in the comment box, expecting us to respond. But please click on the like button and the heart button. That still helps us get traction and exposes us to more people, making more people be able to tune in. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube channel to us. Don't forget that, and share on Facebook Live. Share it to your people. As we said, this show is where we believe knowledge is power. We're just trying to balance out the alternative news, the fake news, and all this other stuff that misinformation that people be putting out there. And so we want to make sure, our disclaimer is this is just our opinion.
Our opinions. Yes.
You're not expecting anybody to be affected by what changing or causing someone to do something different because of something we said. We're just trying to give our opinions, and we are also using facts. So Juan, how you doing, man? Everything good in Vegas out there?
Everything is good, Bob. And let me say, it's only appropriate. You know what they call this city? Sin City. And I think it is highly appropriate that I am here as we kick off this show. And
wait a minute. Clarify that for me, man, because I don't want no lightning to come striking me up in this mug. So clarify that statement, meaning some of this. But clarify.
Yeah, well, today, Bob, we're going to kick off the show with perhaps, if not the hottest topic in America. And I know there's wars and there's scandal and there's shooting, but we are going to kick off the show with perhaps the slap heard around the world. Hi-ya!
Yeah, some people say a little bit soft for slap too, and some people say, but there you go. So let's kick it off, Juan. What's your thoughts about Will Smith smacking the S out of Chris Rock?
Bob, there has been no shortage of opinions, but it is truly, it's not an understatement, that it is the slap heard around the world. I've had so many different thoughts about it. I've tried to listen to folks. I've tried to be responsive when people are discussing it. And I think I've heard every end of it. I personally, when I first saw it, Bob, I thought it was part of the show. But I had to, because I was trying to, full disclosure, I was trying to watch something else, a show we like, Winning Time, but also catch the Oscars. So, I was texting with folks, and I had to get some clarification. So, again, I thought it was part of the show, but I think it's unfortunate. Let me back up. I think it is unfortunate for the show, for Will Smith, and for Chris Rock, and for others who Will Smith was there representing the movie about the Williams family and the Williams father, meaning the tennis stars. I apologize to them because that was their moment as well. So there's a lot of issues with it. The show was being put on by Black rising star producer Will Packer, the Oscars.
Three Black women were the hosts.
Black women were the hosts, and they're all comedian actresses, comedic actresses, and they were carrying the show. And that's probably where they should have left the comedy and the skits for. But I feel bad for all of that part.
So let me ask you. So what are you? Are you team Chris Rock? Or are you team Will Smith? Who are you? Which team are you for? And I'm trying to understand because once again, it's an issue that split black folks up. I know there's some people that are, you know, in Chris Rock's corner, and some people are in Will Smith saying, you know, he's defending his wife. He's had a lot of pressure. Wife putting all these things out here on him, and you know, everybody has that moment, you know. So
Yes.
what team are you on? So where are you?
I don't know that I'm team anybody, Bob, and I know that's the easy way out. I don't know that I'm on a team because I like Chris. I like Will Smith. You know, I think he's a great performer, and Chris Rock. I respect Chris Rock. Sometimes I think Chris takes it over the edge with some things. Don't let things, but I respect his career and his accomplishments. So I don't know that I'm team anybody, but I understand the different points that I read. For instance, I read a great article sent to me by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know, I consider him very intellectual in how he approaches things, but you know, literally, you're right.
So hold up, back up, Juan. So what was the gist of Kareem's article?
The gist of Kareem's is that Will took it too far, that he, in his attempt to, and I'm going to try to give it the gist, but in his attempt to protect the women or spare the women, he's kind of stepped over the line with how he did it, and that the example that they set was wrong. You know, the violence in it. So he talked about that. He talked about when he first met Will Smith, going all the way back to Fresh Prince, and he admires him, but he thought the gist of it that he was wrong in how the action that he took against Chris Rock.
So Kareem is team Will.
Team Chris, you would say.
I mean team. I'm sorry, you're right. Team Chris Rock.
I would say he's team Chris. I think he puts the onus on Will.
Yes.
For knowing better and for that he's that type of guy. But
well, clearly, Juan, it was very bad timing. I mean, you know,
yes.
You know, black producers. This is the first time a black man. I think Debbie Allen might have produced it maybe before. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Debbie Allen was.
This is the first black man to produce it. There was so much color involved. It's a shame it took away the major message from Richard Williams.
Yes.
Everybody who called him crazy and the white people who said they wouldn't succeed, and he made his daughter superstar. This was the time to confirm his story, and all of that was missing.
Exactly.
Didn't even talk about the Oscar that Samuel Jackson won, the Lifetime Achievement Oscar. That got overshadowed. But this what I don't get, Juan, and I appreciate your position, you saying, because there's enough blame to go on both sides, you know. And comedians, I mean, they do that. They do push the envelope. I mean,
right.
This is the part I don't get. First of all, I believe that was a stupid move. I mean, that messed his whole career up. But this is the part I'm kidding with these self-righteous people. Like, you know, they don't live in a glass house. Like, they never made a mistake. Where is the forgiveness? Where is the, you know, he apologized, but you know, no one want to give him, like, you know, oh, they keep talking about, oh, that's what white people need to see black people doing that. They now in their houses and in their boardroom. Oh, see, I told you like that. And yeah, that's probably true, but they were going to do that, or they would have found something else. But like white people don't mess up. That's what's killing me, you know. But just the thing, Juan, how do you feel? Will resigned from the Academy. Do you think he should have?
I heard that. I probably, not knowing how all of that works, that may have been, I think he was going to be potentially suspended over a period of time. I'm not sure, Bob. There's a governing party of that. I think they're going to take that away. I think that there's still discussion about the actual Oscar that he won. But I do believe something like that was happening. He might have got out ahead of that.
Do you think he should have?
Well, He started off. He did apologize, which I thought was appropriate, timely. I think. I guess he should, Bob. What's your thoughts on it?
No freaking way.
Okay.
You know, because nowadays it's this cancel culture stuff is just too far, man.
Mhm.
I mean, the man, you know, he made a mistake. It wasn't like he shot this man. It wasn't like, you know, he dropped him with a punch or anything like that.
Mhm.
But for him to even, I don't even think they should be taking the Oscar away from him. Should there be some retribution because of that? Or I don't know if that's the right word.
Right.
But should there be some penalty? Yeah, but I don't think we're going too far with these now. Like people say, you know, some things, and next thing you know, people want to take their jobs. That's just happened with a friend of mine. She's over a recreation center, and the guy went off and cursed the guy out, who was one of the league directors of the basketball, little girls basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And he works for and part-time, and he needs his job, and they want to fire him because he went off and cursed the guy out. But and this guy never had any other infraction, just like Will Smith, no other infraction that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take this man's job and his livelihood, and he's been struggling. And so to bring it to tie this together, to take the Oscar from him, I mean, come on, man. We're such a self-righteous society these days. I'm just tired of it, man. Was it correct for what he did? No.
Right.
Should he have to pay some kind of, you know, penalty? Yeah, maybe so. But what that is, you know, but I don't think he should resign. I mean, come on, man. And that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We
mm-hmm. No.
do the job. We cut our own, what their old saying is, cut your own nose,
spite your face. Yeah. Well, but Bob, I feel it, and I feel your passion on it, because every time I think that I'm looking at it raw, I hear it, I get that from each side. But you have now, you think about it, Bob, like Wanda Sykes, who's a well-known kind of OG comedian. She's kind of like, she's really horrified. She's kind of got that comedian side, who that cultural side. And many of them have talked about that Will Smith, and you can let me know what you think about that he should have been removed at that time from the things, which
stop it.
Which my sister those thought, you know,
remove some of them low lifted sex offending pedophile muzzle at the party. I'm over removing them.
You did it. That would also have caused more interruption and disruption to the academies, I think, too. So I thought that was not necessary either. But the other side of that is, Bob, this, and I've heard people talk about it, people have to realize Will Smith, and like Jimmy Fallon said, is, to quote your words, a freaking superstar. He's literally one of the world's, not United States just, but one of the world's biggest actors, one of the most successful actors in all of Hollywood, and has had a lifetime of successes. And I think when I hear people talk about it, they almost talk about it like, well, why would people clap? Because it's Will Smith. It's freaking Will Smith. Will Smith, and Jimmy Fallon said, around the world, he's one of the most beloved actors. And I just find it like sometimes they think like you're talking about some up and coming guy who's trying to make it. Will Smith is Will Smith.
Juan,
that's why I think they have.
Is there any coincidence? Turn on the TV. Is there any coincidence? All his, I mean, what was one of his movies that didn't do nothing? That's on.
Right.
Bad Boys back on.
Right. Yeah, Bad Boys. I was watching it last night.
Fahrenheit or Temperature, some movie that's on. Chris Rock shows are being sold out to the hill, man. Once again.
But Bob, that's another one. What do you think about that? And now, did you cover that there? What about the conspiracy theories? Like my cousin, he feels it definitely was staged. You know, I said, hey, they had a Jimmy Smollett moment.
No, I
not
don't
to
think it
impugn
stays
it,
with,
but
you know,
I'm just saying,
the
what do you think
cursing.
about all of these things? I know you've heard that. What
No,
do you think about
I
that?
don't believe that was staged. He smacked the S out of him.
Okay.
And and if it was staged, I don't think they would have him go back to his seat and use the F bomb. Now on any national broadcast telecast, the F word is one of the biggest
Right,
no-nos.
right, right,
If
right.
they were staged that, he wouldn't have been
I
saying
don't think right, and
the
that definitely did not
no.
uh,
But
help him
Juan,
anyway.
we got to move on. But
Well,
I don't know.
before that, Bob, just one thing though. Before you move on, let me just ask you, Jada's role in all this, because there's been a lot of talk about Jada. Jada set him up or pushed it. So I just wanted to, I didn't want to leave before that because Will got up there and apologized and cried, but you know what he did for women. But what do you think about
that was staged?
What about
you know they know they good at faking
you
crying.
always get
you know they're good at faking crying in movies.
Bob, what Jada, what do you think of Jada's role? And then I'll leave it alone. But and I have one other thing after that. We'll follow up to you, Bob. Just a quick one.
Well, one is like this. Black men got a lot of pressure on them.
A lot of pressure.
And sometimes black women put the pressure on the black man. Now I know I'm gonna get some flack for this, but we get it from all ends.
Yes, yes.
She putting all this stuff out there, talk about entanglement. No, you cheated there. I'm talking about some entanglement. And you're going to put that all out there. Jada talks and put too much of this stuff in the meeting. So he had all of that. I'm not saying it's right. But black man under enough pressure, he just felt, you know, a whole lot of pressure.
Yes, yes.
You know.
And I've read some good articles about that, Bob, talking about the pressure, you know, that really take a good look at it.
But, you know, so I think, you know, it's not, I don't know, fair to Jada because Will is a grown man. And as he walked up there, Warren, I know that there was enough time for him to change his mind. But I think he felt he was doing the right thing.
Right.
But I don't know if you heard this, though, Warren, but they already got the host for next year's Oscars. You know who it is?
Who's that?
Mike Tyson.
I knew you could see. But
so let's move on. Come on, we gotta move on. We got a lot more topics, Juan. We got a lot more.
But one thing, let me ask you, Bob. One of Sabrina's friends thought a great thing have Will Smith donate to some specific organizations in terms of young people watching that and how to prevent, you know, violent natures and things like that. But one thing I thought she was great with the point that if the Oscars were thinking creative, the Academy was thinking creatively, that next year have Will Smith and Chris Rock co-host it and have do some skits and to host the show and kind of address some things in the show. And I thought that was a excellent point. But anyway, okay, I'll leave it at that. Just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody's looking ahead. I think that would be.
You know, they'll probably try to They probably try to capitalize off of that, Warren. I wouldn't doubt me if they did that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Would doubt it, not one bit.
Thank you for letting me slip that in there. Okay.
Anytime, old beanhead. So look, let's go to the next subject, Warren. Because that definitely was a hot one. But let's get to the next one. Look, this is almost like it was theater. And some of these must should have got an Oscar for this performance. Which we segue into Ketanji Brown Jackson hearing by the senators on Capitol Hill. That was like a whole Academy Award produced definitely by the Republicans. I mean, and I like to ask this question, man. Why all black people, why there no white people named Jackson? Why they go find the one black woman and her last name is Jackson? Jackson in Washington. Why didn't no black people named Jackson in Washington? But anyway, I digress. So Juan, let's talk a little bit about that, man. How do you feel about that hearing that big circus, that show?
And the usual suspects were in the room when you say the GOP, Bob. And as we know, you all, if you follow our show, and I know you are, we talked about the upcoming hearings and the qualifications we talked about Ketanji, and we talked about her overwhelming brilliance and her qualities and all of that. And I was ready for, I thought I was for the hearings, but when I think about that, I've heard it or seen it all. They bring me back to reality, and they showed out. That damn Lindsey Graham, it really is despicable. It's shameful. But as I said, Ted Cruz, they showed a thing of Ted Cruz. Some of the comedians were talking about he was actually on his cell phone checking his tweets after he had questioned her. I thought it was, I just thought it was, they treated her like she was testifying on trial for a murder or something she committed. It was awful, man. The lack of respect.
You talking about Sin City? It was sinful.
It was sinful. It was sinful, man. I think it's a shame. I really, I felt violated for her.
But she handled herself, I mean, with the utmost of dignity. But this is interesting one. This weekend, I was on a HBCU. I spoke, and I was also on a panel for HBCU athletic conference, talking about everything and from HBCU, and I went to HBCU, and I went to PWI. I went to University of District of Columbia, and they talked about our HBCU experience. And the reason why I bring that up is because a couple of people were doctors, pro athletes, and professional people who went to HBCUs. And
Right.
The common theme out of it, to tie it into this conversation, is they talked about how the day HBCU experience prepared them for the professional world. And most of them said that they were always taught that they were going to have to be the brightest. They were going to have to be 10 times better than their white counterparts. When they go out in the world, most all of them said HBCUs, it is given to you. If you went to an HBCU, they had you hustled. They made you work. It was nothing. Every inch, every GPA point you got, it wasn't just given to you because
it was earned. Right.
It was earned. And that's how, Ketanji Brown Jackson, she stood there, she took it with dignity. She could have went off like Kavanaugh, which pissed me off. I look at the difference with Kavanaugh's personality and how he handled it as a potential Supreme Court judge, yelling at people, asking the senator woman, do you drink beer? I mean, stupid stuff, how he performed his character compared to how she handled. But that's it.
Yes.
We always got to be doing better. We always have to suck it up, as they say. We always have to be 10 times better than them. And that's what she showed. But not only did she show she was 10 times, she showed that she was 100, 1,000 times better. Yes. And her qualifications spoke for themselves. She's been through this process before. 3 times.
Voted on.
The first time that she went through this. I mean, it's absurd. And I'm tired of the Democrats, man, being so soft and how to handle it. Congratulations out to Cory Booker. He stepped up and stepped out there.
Yes, he did.
And that's the one time she showed emotions, man. I think she shattered a tear, man. But he came out into her defense.
Yes.
And none of them other, God, I want to say the P word.
But don't do
it. Didn't even stand up for her. Even Durbin, is that his name? Right. Durbin. Come on, man. They need to stand up for that woman and tell them, oh, just stop it.
Yeah.
Put the foot down. But that's not what happens when it comes to Democrats versus Republicans, And I know Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, said, when they take the low road, we take the high road. That comedian that's on The View, the white chick, said, no, we got it wrong. When they go low, we should go lower.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, I think you're spot on. I couldn't have said it better. I think that more people, there were some good articles about that Cory Booker aside, and that was the headline, the Democrats stranded Ketanji, left her out there. And I agree with that. Sometimes I just think that I don't know if they're trying to do decorum, but they should step in there. They should step in there sometimes, because the more you give somebody, if you give them ground, they feel like they can just step all over you. And so I agree with you. But she was dignified, and I think that spoke well for her. And Bob, what do you think? Do you think she will get confirmed?
Without a doubt. The thing is, will there be any Republicans? Because she can get confirmed without no Republicans.
Right.
With this particular procedure.
Right.
But they just said, oh, I forgot the white senator that just came.
Senator Collins. Susan Collins.
I think she came forth already.
Yes. Yes.
So at least got one. But I really think.
But everybody says wait to see what she does, because she can be kind of
wishy-washy.
But she has come out.
At least she made that statement. And I think, Juan, I just think some of these people's conscience, man, won't let them. It's just like the time when Obama was running and John McCain and the white lady came up at the campaign, and she said, Obama's a Muslim, and even John McCain he snatched the mic from him and said, nah, I can't even let you do this.
You're right.
He's a good man. He's not. She said, he's not a Muslim. He said, no. He just couldn't take it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think is some people up there, some of the white people in the city are just going to come forward and say, nah, we can't just do this, man. This one time, come on. It's absurd. But that was so funny. He's like, he took the mic. Man, I can't even go that far.
Like, come on, you guys.
He said, no, he's a real good man. He's a decent man.
But what does that say about our society, Bob, when it will not change the order of the court? It will still be 6-3 conservative, liberal, so to speak, in terms of the judges. But yet the vitriol that she receives, as if the court is getting ready to flip. But hey, the Republicans never waste a chance to make fools of themselves, and I believe that is part of that they have to go around and make John Cornyn, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham. These are I have stories about these folks, man, and they are very overtly racist.
They're the new Ku Klux Klan. They don't wear hoods.
Absolutely.
But Juan, it's amazing that she's going to make it through.
Okay, I agree with you. I think
the thing is,
Collins saying for us going to do it.
The thing is, Juan, the 63. This is what they're saying about her. They say that she is a consensus maker. She has been so persuasive, so an influencer in her decisions that they are feeling, and I don't know how true this would be, but they are saying they feel that she can make a difference just on their consciousness, her position, because she's able to be an influencer, not just being a judge, but she's been able to break it like what she did in the hearing. She broke it down, so they were coming out, but she broke it down so simple. And the good one, they didn't notice, man, she threw it back on him. She said, judges don't make policy. They don't make law. We just following through what the Congress did. Oh, no one caught that. She threw it right back on them.
She right back on it, right.
No,
she sure did.
Applied what the Congress voted on. So that was pretty good, man.
She's timely. She's good. I agree with you, Bob.
And I hope she's an influencer, because that's what we need with a 6-3 majority Supreme Court. But really, Juan, and Chief Justice Roberts, he has been known to go not with the party line. So it's really sometimes it looks like it's 5-4.
That's true. He has, but now he can kind of settle back. But just as a little, we're going to talk a little later about the Supreme Court
Right.
and maybe there could be some
Well,
more.
especially with Clarence Thomas, if not only if we'll talk about whether he resigned or not, but what's the word? Is it dissent where he doesn't vote on something? And see, that could count. That could make it count.
Recusing himself.
No, no. I'm talking about certain votes on things. It's not recusing.
Right.
He doesn't give an opinion on it, or he'll go
Mhm.
with the guy that he used to always love to follow, the one that
Scalia.
Scalia, right? They used to, but sometimes he just is a dissent.
Thomas is the longest serving justice right now.
Yeah. But so then that could make it 4-4.
5-4.
No, 5-4. No, it could make it 4 the other way. No, if he doesn't do it, no, 4-4. If he doesn't make an opinion, it'll make it 4-4. That's what I'm saying.
But he will vote. I've never seen him not that much. But anyway, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, Bob.
Okay, yeah. Right. So anyway, we rode that horse down the valley and back up to the other side anyway. So the next our major standard topic that we always got to talk about is our President Joe Biden and his status and updates, because where he is in his term.
Whew, you said a mouthful. There's a lot going on. I will say for Biden, Bob, he has a lot of things going on. But you were the one who made me aware, and I don't know if the war, Ukraine, but I didn't realize that. Of course, they take polls every second, but his poll numbers were down, Bob, and I didn't realize that. He's kind of upside down with his poll numbers and his handling of the war, his handling of the pandemic, and I was like, oh my goodness, he is dealing with quite a few things, and the problem with inflation and so forth. But I know that they are very concerned because the midterms are looming. They're right there on the doorstep. But in actuality, I think Biden's doing a pretty good job overall. Do I think that they acquiesce to polls too much, or they worry about what Republicans think too much? All of that. And I think the administration, they always want to get support from people who I don't think are interested in supporting them. They want some of these former Trump voters, and I don't think they're coming back to the fold. But it is a difficult time. Gas prices going higher. The war. It could be some things going on there where perhaps they could be working towards some sort of ceasefire. I don't know. I think Biden. I think Putin has his back up a little bit against the wall. It doesn't want to be seen as having any failure. But just following the news, it looks like he's having some slippage. But
Juan, this is the thing. They're blaming gas prices on
yes, they are.
Biden. They blaming inflation, which he has nothing to do with that.
And
if you know about business cycles, it's usually it takes 8 years for that the president is in office. It takes 8 years for his actual policies and things to go in effect. So some of this is a lag. It has nothing to do about his administration at all. It's ridiculous how they, are blaming some of the things on him. It's just, it's just a pile on. But I think he's doing a good job. But this is what I don't get about we're accepting 100,000 Ukrainians, right?
Refugee crisis. Yes.
Right, refugee or immigrant. This is all immigration. It has to do with immigration, by the way. We letting in 100,000 people. Yet, we when it comes to the black countries like Haiti, not even just Haiti, Ethiopia, Sudan, all these other black nations
Mhm.
that are having turmoil, we don't open up our borders for them to come in, but it seems like we so easy to open up the borders for these
Mhm.
so-called white
Mhm.
countries,
Mhm.
like
Mhm. Mhm.
Ukraine.
Mhm.
Uh, so
Right.
it's
Right.
just the
Right.
dichotomy is just um, the
It's,
contrast, should I say?
jumps out at you, huh? Bob?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
just a coincidence that
Mhm.
we want to help all these other countries, but countries of color, we step back and don't do. I won't
Right.
say we won't do nothing. A
Right.
lot of times we don't.
Right.
I know they do something, but they do as much as they do. It appears some of
Mhm.
these other
Mhm.
countries,
Right.
and that kind of gets under my skin.
Well, Bob, the refugee crisis is a problem, and let's put it in two buckets because it is they do have immigration and we do have refugees, but the problems all over the world. These man and men with running the world. It seems like everybody wants to go back to another time or another century. That these wars being fought all over the world, Bob, all over the
Mm.
world, and they are causing refugee crises coming from everywhere. You mentioned some of them: Congo, Yemen, um, Palestinian. There are conflicts all over the world. The Haitians at our border, coming from different parts of the world. But the contrast is something when you see Biden go across there and hug the kids of Ukraine. It does make you wonder about that. But I think every country should be afforded that latitude. They're dealing with war and shaping that we should be looking to help nations around the world, especially if we're complicit in the destruction or the problems that they have in the whole world. If you displace people, and I was listening to the executive director for the World Food Program, man, and it was just fascinating listening to him trying to feed people around the world, man. But displacement, war, climate change, it's just causing
Well,
untold damage. What are you going to
this
do
is
with people? They
this is
millions, Bob.
this is the thing I don't get, though, Juan.
Hmm.
Um, I get the thing about helping less fortunate people, which is all around the world. And I remember one time this one church was putting together a trip to go help the hunger people in Biafra.
Right,
And
right.
they put together this trip, take a bunch of people to go help the starvation of Biafran people.
Hmm.
And down the street from that church in Southeast, there was mugs starving on the corners. But we doing all this helping other people. And that's the one thing I give Trump when he's talking about America first.
Hmm. Hmm.
We need to help our own daggone people. With that, Juan, that brings me to the other subject that President Joe Biden happens to be a part of. And that's he just signed on March the 29th, 2022,
Hmm.
the Emmett Till Anti Lynching Act
Hmm. Hmm.
2022. Now, some people would applaud that as a major accomplishment. But Juan, I'm like, what the hell? The anti-lynching? Emmett Till? Why they got to put that name? It seems like they act like they feeding us a bone. They giving us some crumbs, and we should be so grateful because they signed that. Man, who cares about anti-lynching bill? There's voters' rights bills. There's criminal reform bills that could that applies to really hate crimes, but when it comes to calling something a hate crime in this country, they have a problem because it makes them complicit.
Hmm.
So they don't want to call it a hate crime, but that's what it should be, a hate crime bill. But no, they want to call it the anti-lynching. Like we care about. I mean, we do care, but
Yeah,
that's not the issue.
the care, right.
Lynching is not the issue, and it even says in the bill that hate anti-lynching is a hate crime. So then why don't they come out and call? But they seem like they tip around it because it makes them. I mean, because they're so involved in a lot of these. America really hates to be called racist.
Truly.
South Africa, Nelson Mandela, he had hearings where those who led the apartheid, administrators, parliamentary people, military people, they had to come and testify and actually literally apologize for apartheid. America has never apologized for slavery.
No.
America would never apologize for racism. Matter of fact, they claim that there isn't racism, that we're not a racist. And that's why I'm tying this to this anti-lynching bill. It's like they giving us a crumb. Emmett Till, for real? When was that? Well, Emmett Till way back then?
Right.
And you're going to name it Emmett Till? How about the George Floyd bill they're trying to get?
Right.
Current name. Emmett Till, for real? Now, some people, no, but that's so compassionate because what they did them. So what? They need to catch up.
Well,
They're a little behind, don't you think, anti-lynching bill?
Well, Bob, you and I, just to let everybody know, Bob and I had a very spirited discussion about this in the bill the other day as we were preparing for the show. And Bob makes all good points. We live in it's a difficult time, Bob. But I think one reason I think it still stirs emotion. I watched something just the other day on a show called Democracy Now, where they were talking about the anti-lynching bill, and they talked to Emmett Till's best friend and cousin, who he was sleeping in bed beside. When they snatched him out of the bed, they talked and showed actual footage of his mother and how she came to see her son's body and what they did and how she decided to leave it open. They played actual footage. And Bob, the emotions that welled up in me, whether we think we've passed that act or things, it was so devastating. I know, but
emotional. What is that? That doesn't solve anything.
But what I'm saying, but I'm going somewhere with it because you asked why we do it, why we things. Because let me say that the guys came to the house and took him out, and they tortured him, and they tied a cotton gin
old
fan.
News, Juan.
I know, but wait a minute.
How many years old is that?
But how many people who really know? Cotton gin fan to his but the cotton gin was tied to his neck with barbed wire. And
Juan, what is that?
But I'm saying, Bob,
man, that's what they want you to do. They want you to focus on old stuff.
Bob, but there's a reason why when they put a plaque to Emmett Till in Mississippi there, that whites go and shoot at it every year and put bullet holes in it and have to riddle it with bullets every year. They don't ever waste a year. And because they know it's symbolic, they know what it means. But let me tie it in. And
what does that have to do about today?
You're right. But I think that everybody needs to get involved. If it is important to our society and our community to have these bills passed, to get these things that will move us forward, because believe me, just like Ketanji Brown Jackson, how they treated her, they had no problem. They had no problem grandstanding and treating her as if she was nobody. If we don't get out here and lobby and fight for the things that will help move us forward and change our life, if we just think that people will do the right thing, if we need a George Floyd bill passed, if we need a thing, we have to get out here and fight for it. Because they kept doing after a bill on anti-lynching for 100 years. They kept on it. These things have been brewing for years, man. We have to keep fighting for it. If we step back now, Trump is holding rallies. If we don't step up, but I think
no one is talking about don't fight. No one's talking about
the bill may be symbolic, Bob, but we're gonna have to fight for everything. You're right.
No one's saying don't fight, Juan. No one's saying don't fight. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying they played this game where they give us bones, they give us crumbs like they giving us something. Emmett Till, this happened in 1955. Okay, George Floyd just happened. There's a George Floyd bill that they won't pass. We and it's not like we have been fighting, Juan. We've been fighting since civil rights for how long, and where has that gotten us?
But some of these policies have to be signed into law by
it's all about law, but Juan, we have to do something.
And we have to have policies on these things. I agree with you.
But Juan, but you saying fight, but you act like that's the solution. We've been fighting since.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about you got to vote. You got to vote.
Juan, look, they will not pass. Juan, they won't. You talking about vote, and yet they're using voter suppression, and they won't pass voting bills.
And going to use it next year.
So now what? I'm tired of people talking about we need to fight. We need to go out there and march. We've been doing that same stuff, Juan, and what has it gotten us? There's got to be another approach to this. You said vote, but yet they got bills that they won't, but yet they're passing anti-lynching bills and not. Well, what? Am I missing something here?
No. Well, go.
Anti-lynching bill? And let me retract. Well, hold up. Let me retract. I made a statement a minute ago. Like, what does that matter about Emmett Till? I take that back. It does matter today about Emmett Till. Don't get me wrong. But to go back there, and that's how they get you on. That's what I'm trying to say. They slide, they slick, just like Trump the other day come on Fox talking about Putin was using the N-word. He kept saying the N-word. So people was like, oh my God, what is Trump was using the N-word? So everybody knows what the N-word means. But Trump was just dropping it. He kept using the N-word. And then the host on Fox said, well, he said, yeah, nuclear bomb. So the guy was like, well, that's not a bad word. Why didn't he just come out and say nuclear bomb? But trust me, there was something behind why Trump chose to say Putin was using the N-word. Just like I'm saying, name it the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. What is it really behind that? That's all I'm saying. And I'm a conspiracy theorist, so that's how I go on. So anyway, I'm off my
No.
They act like they're giving us some policy, some bill, and all this other stuff we need to be dealing with today.
Well, hey, there's so many things stacked up that we need to get past. I think we need to figure out a way to get a majority Congress. Because first of all, let me just be honest. I think the Republican Party is not a party. I just think that
it's a cult. It's a cult.
There's some sort of cult. They really are not. Even though we treat them like they're a governing party,
they're a cult.
They're all. However, as long as America's going to act like we are a two-party system when we're really not anymore, and as you have always said, that we really are living in a democracy, which we've been we're
not living in
a democracy. We have to operate in this culture, and I think that we're going to have to find a way to hold the majorities in all these offices.
So let's talk solutions. Because I get tired of people talking about the problem, because that's where Black people become so articulate and can now, specify, clarify all the problems, but nobody's providing solutions. So I have a solution, Juan. One of the solutions I feel because policy is what it's about. It's not about politics. That's about show and shaking hands and telling people what they want to hear. It's about policy. That's totally different. Making policy. And this is one of the solutions, Juan. I was told by one of the teachers why they don't have civics in schools anymore. They don't teach because the young people don't understand about the three powers of government, the executive, legislative, and the Supreme Court. Executive, legislative, and the third power
Right.
Yes.
In Congress.
Congress. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Executive being the
Three
president.
branches of government. Correct.
Right. Three important. Most young kids don't know. You learn that in civics.
Right.
And I think our people, they need to put it back in school so they can
Absolutely.
learn the importance of why they need to get in there, not to be a politician,
Right.
but to get in and make policy, because that is what creates change.
Right.
That is what creates and get these things done. Yes,
Absolutely.
we need to vote,
Absolutely.
but no, we
Absolutely.
also need the people, the right people, so they can vote and
Right.
get them in there. We
Right.
need more people. We
Right.
need more candidates. I don't
Right.
know what's going on, Juan, but I'm telling you, we have these elections coming up, and in Prince George's County, where we are, where I am, in Maryland, there's so many black women running. I don't know where the guys are, but it's a bunch of black women really running.
Well, I think it's their time, Bob.
And I'm not-
There are always a lot. Yeah, there are a lot of women running for all offices, high
Yes.
and low. You're exactly
Yeah,
right.
the sisters gaining on the brothers, man. I mean, I'm like,
But
the
I heard,
brothers.
Bob, that there are 54 blacks running for office, Republican offices. So I don't know what that means. Okay. But
I'll tell you what it means.
Bob, what does it mean?
They're gonna get paid because any black person going to it. That's why the lieutenant governor that ran with in Maryland.
Michael Steele.
Why they said Michael Steele went over because he said ain't no competition. That's why a lot of black folks go over to the public because there's no competition and they're gonna get paid.
Bob, back to your solution. I think that's great. We should have civics again, and I think it was a Sharpton said every kid that comes out of high school, they should be given their voter registration card, man. And get immediately get involved. I mean, kids, it took young people to walk out after there were massive school shootings. I mean, who had to? When I was in school, I wasn't worried about somebody, just walking through the school shooting all of us. I might worry about a fight. Oh, such is looking for me. Oh, I'm out of here. But I mean, these are something they have to deal with in there, and that's just ridiculous. So I think that's a great solution, Bob.
Well, people
Civics
don't
needs to come back.
What people haven't realized, Juan, every major protest from the beginning of time, it's not no old people. The old people come and get on there when they get in the front of the line, they put them in and they walk a couple of blocks. It's young people. Look at back there at Pettis Bridge. Those are young people.
That's right. That's right. You always said that.
People. It's young people. But we don't protest. And they had a protest. They wanted at Howard University to students to come out and protest the Black Eagle. What's his name? The Black Eagle.
Yes. He was doing his hunger strike.
Yeah, he wanted. This was a few years ago. The students at Howard to come out and protest to help the maintenance workers at Howard University, and they didn't. So he was mad. Joe Madison.
Joe Madison. That's
he was
right.
on his radio show and
Black
he came
Eagle.
out and was bombing. But some of the young people came out and said, "Hey, excuse me, Mr. Madison, you may be a little bit behind times. We don't come out in March, but we will galvanize and get people together way much faster. We use social media. It's just a different way of doing it. They're like, no, he wanted them to get signs, go out in front of the building. They're like, man, we ain't doing that. But we are loud, active on social media. So sometimes I think some of our older people need to stop riding some of our young people and saying what they're not doing and start telling what they need to do, and what they
Right.
I
think they're coming together. I think they're coming together.
I think they are too, Juan, to be honest.
I think they're coming together because it's a time. Howard's been going at it strong, getting some changes and conditions. So you're right, Bob.
Please don't mention how Howard just proposed to spend $785 million on maintenance and upgrading their properties, which I think is absurd. The tuition is down at $50,000, and they talking about upgrading. I don't know if you remember some of it, and they're not going to do the dorms. And this year, and I digress, but these mothers are camping out because the dorms are so bad. And they talking about $785 million on the dorms. How about some scholarships? But on the buildings, all the rundown, dilapidated buildings that they've been maintenance, spending all
They're
this money.
they're not spending any money on the buildings, bro.
On the buildings, no, they're going to spend on the buildings, but what about the students? What about they're not going to spend on the dorms? They said, but to revamp, but and this is the thing with a lot of schools, Juan, and we digressed off of Joe Biden, but this is what's going on with colleges. The tuitions are high, and a lot of people think it's the paying the professors, but no. If you look at any of these schools, they keep building and building. It's about building. Look at VCU; they own almost half of Richmond. I went on tour of Penn State. From when I was there, they built out further. University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. There's cranes everywhere.
It's all about raising the money.
It's all about building and more buildings.
They fundraise all the time.
They fundraise, but they spend the money. Like, why not help with some of the student loan debt, man? It's killing me. But that just came up with Howard. But Juan, we're running out of time, man. We don't have much time left. But the last thing we want to talk about, and we're just going to spend a little bit of time on this because that's all we got anyway.
Yeah.
What's going on with Clarence Thomas's wife?
Yeah, Bob, just like you said, we talked a little bit about it. We teased it when you were mentioning Biden, and we were talking about the voting in the Ketanji Brown and the that it was still 6-3 even if she gets in. But if you see anything if you get a chance, Clarence Thomas's wife and her background, I watched something on her and what she came through. She came through some little cult called Light of the World or Liberty. I forget it right offhand, Bob. But I think that the Democrats are getting enough juice to this now calling for Clarence Thomas. They were just talking about recusing himself. I'm like, recusing himself? They've been doing it and influencing laws, man, things that change people's lives. She was literally telling Trump, Clarence Thomas's wife, she was literally telling Trump who to hire, who to fire. And the only influence she has is because she's Clarence Thomas's wife. But they are now talking about that he should be, some saying that he should resign. I think that's the least. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. What ethics? I think the pressure is on Roberts. You mentioned Roberts earlier, because he's already looking what the poll on the Supreme Court. The people don't think they're legitimate as they should be. That bothers them. That's the one thing. They act on the trust of the country, and I think that they should put immense pressure. I think that's why they said he was sick last week. I think they should put immense pressure on him to resign.
Last week, the mother was sick all his life.
I think they should put pressure on him to resign. But anyway, so she's a piece of work. Read some of the things she said. She would say to Mom and that we're gonna. It blows the mind. She sounds like a conspiracy theorist, cult leader, mega world. She's crazy. And I just got to say it, man.
Yeah,
he's crazy for marrying with. But
because of her, they said there's been a lot of.
I think the pressure ought to be there to resign, man. Or they should ask him to retire. To retire. Let me be nice.
Because of her.
You retire.
Because of her, Juan, and since this Will Smith Oscar thing, there's been a lot of movements that they're talking about secretly creating called Slap a Cracker Foundation. But on that note, no, I'm just saying this was what people were saying that she was influencing. I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying.
I'm on that note.
I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying this is what they're saying out there. We share news. We share news.
These are opinions, you all.
This is not. No, that is not my opinion. I'm just telling you.
Right.
That's what they're saying. Yeah. We didn't say that. Yeah. That's not my opinion. No, that's not my opinion. I didn't say.
But yeah, they slap. Right.
I said because of her and the Will Smith thing, they're saying they're causing these these pockets of movements called that. So with that one, we come to the end of our show. It's been a full hour. We'd like to thank everybody. Remember, we're here every first Sunday of the month. Every first Sunday of the month. OPO, On Point Opinions. Juan, you have any closing remarks?
Bob, I heard a couple good sayings, man. And I like to to just say, Bob, I have one for you. And I thought it was interesting, you know, and somebody said it, and Bob, see what you think. It said, dying is hard if you haven't lived. And I thought that was profound.
Wow. Since you sharing profound statements, I want to share one with you.
Uh-oh, come on with it.
They said the hardest thing about waiting on the Lord is wishing that you did.
Oh.
Hello, Lord.
Hello.
Hey, Juan, did you hear that? That's why I'm Bob dropping some knowledge. Bam, baby. That's it.
Hey.
OPO, on point opinion strikes again. Like I said, I'm glad you held your comments this week because this is pre-recorded, but we will be live next month and the month after that. So please stay tuned. And if you didn't, we want you to share this on Facebook. Please share it with other people. And you can still put comments in there and we'll get them later and we will respond to them also. But we want to know about some other topics that you'd like for us to talk about. And we're going to start having people on our show. And if you want to come on our show, let us know. Put it in the box and let us know what topics you actually want to talk about.
Absolutely.
So with that, thank you so much, you all. Peace from the brothers on Point Opinions. I'm Bobby Kinzer.
I'm Juan Holker.
And we see you.
And I got one more for you, Bob.
What's that?
We should have, and I heard this from somebody who provides food for around the world, we should have longer tables, not higher walls.
Now that's pretty deep. And I got one more for you.
Okay.
It is much better.
Stop that foolishness.
No.
All right.
Oh, you telling me on April Fool's? Stop that damn foolishness. That's my first one. That's my man.
Right.
Here's my last one, Juan. It is much better to be the trip than to be tripped. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, y'all take good care.
All right, bye-bye, y'all.
So we see y'all next month, the first Sunday every month at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.